My name is Karen Moranke. I work actually for Pastor Brian. I am his executive assistant with Canada in Prayer as well as Kids Fest and anything else that he needs me to take care of. And I've been working for him for 6 years, and I've actually been with him since before he took on the Hope Center. So pre Hope Center, and just praising God for all that He's doing even through this ministry. When I was growing up, I was extremely shy, and I was also a little bit chubby. Right from kindergarten, I was made fun of for being fat, and I was a very insecure little girl growing up. Actually, even before I started going to school, just was really shy. I remember hiding behind my mom's legs, and because I was so insecure, I didn't like anything physical, any kind of physical exercise or activity. I hated gym class. It was my least favorite class in the world, and I did everything I could to get out of it. I said I forgot my gym clothes. I said I was sick, all kinds of things like that. As I began to change on the inside, God started to change me on the outside as well. And I realized, even as I'd been made fun of all those years for being fat, I realized that I did have a problem, and that I had used eating even as a way of escape or a way of comforting myself. And I realized I needed to do something about it. So God began to give me a desire, even as He had changed my heart. He started to give me a desire to change on the outside as well. And in total, I lost 70 pounds. Most of you probably would never know, but it was a process. After I had been working with Pastor Brian and a lot of athletes, for those who are familiar with Kids Fest, there's a lot of athletes involved. So I was surrounded by athletes, and there was an organization that wanted to support our charity, and they train women for marathons. And so I never would have thought of it before, but they wanted to make a donation to Kids Fest, and they needed someone's name to use just to put that donation in as a bursary. They give bursaries to women who can't afford the program. So I put my name in, and then I realized afterwards that they actually wanted me to train with them and to run, which is, as I said, I hated gym class. I hated all athletics, so it was something I never ever would have done. But because of the transformation God had done on the inside of me, I thought maybe I can do this. And so I started to run, and I actually did several months after I started running. I did my first 5K with the kids at Kids Fest, and from there it just became actually a passion. Those very things that I hated, how I hated gym and I hated athletics, it actually became something that I loved. It became something that I was passionate about. I realized that everything that God had put inside of me, that the enemy had tried to thwart and take away, was actually the very things that God had created and designed and destined for me. One of my greatest desires was to be married, and I wanted to have a husband so badly, right from high school. Actually, since I was a kid anyways, I wanted to be married and have kids. But especially as soon as I finished high school and over those next years, actually 10 years, my desire was to be married, and it was a burning desire. It was a great desire. It was actually, for a long time, it was my greatest desire. And God had to take me through a huge process of preparing my heart for that. And when I first met Joe, who everyone knows, or most people know now as my husband, when I first met him, we were friends. We spent some time together. We met actually at work. But I came to the conclusion that he wasn't really what I was looking for, and I told him I just wanted to be friends. So little did I know he was a little bit hurt by that. But so over the space of 2 years, we saw each other in the hallways. We kind of had a surface friendship, but nothing really took place from there. And for 2 years, I was praying and crying out for my husband, a very painful season as well, because there was a great loneliness. For those of you who are single, you understand the pain of that loneliness when you're waiting for that one and you feel like, is it ever going to come? And I had many moments where it was so painful. And there was such a great loneliness in my heart. But at the same time, God was doing something in me. He was bringing me closer to that place and that time when I would be ready for that. And there was a month where God began to show me that I'd been looking at the wrong I've been looking at the outside instead of the inside. And I should have known since he had been working on my inside for so long. But he showed me that I've been looking for the wrong thing, even in a man, looking for the great preacher, the great minister, the passionate speaker, and the worship leader. But God showed me that that it was the heart that he looks on, and he was looking for a man after his own heart. At the end of the process of God changing my heart, even in the area of looking on the outward, and at that time, as well as God worked that process in my heart, I came to a place where I knew that I had died to that desire. Not that I had given it up, but that I had said, God, I'm going to seek you first. God, you are my desire. Obviously, I'm not ready for a husband because I'm looking for the wrong things, and I don't have your heart on this. And so many times in the past, I had laid it down. I'd laid down that desire, and I had said, I die to it. But I had picked it up again. And at this time, in this season, after this month of that painful process, I knew that I had truly died to it. And I always say to people, if you don't know whether you've died or not, you haven't died yet. And so this time I knew I have died to this desire. And God, I give it to you, and I am just seeking you, because God, you are all I need. That prayer was answered, but once again, God taught me that same lesson: seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all of these things will be added unto you. And that very thing, once again, the thing that I didn't want, the thing that I thought wasn't for me, the thing that I thought I would never want, it was the very thing that was the best thing for me, the thing that God gave me. And it was because God showed me that his idea of a man of God is different than my idea of a man of God. And so he had to change my perspective. But I realized I'm so glad that what God has planned for me is so much greater than what I had planned for myself. And that was a process that I had to go through in recognizing that if I seek first God and his kingdom, if I put God first, everything else will come, and all of those other desires will be met. But until I die to those desires, and until I do seek him first, and until we do seek him first, then those things will not come to pass. And if they do, then we'll be miserable, because we'll be trying to fill it in our own strength and trying to maintain it in our own strength, not knowing that God is in control, and that God is the one who has orchestrated that. So it was a great lesson for me.